Hey all. Today we're going to do a lesson on Stairway to Heaven, at least the acoustic guitar part, and at least the beginning of the acoustic guitar part. The first section of it. We'll see how much we can get through before this video becomes too long and maybe we'll break it into pieces. But it's in standard tuning in the key of A minor. And I'll try to keep both hands in the shot as I explain it. So it starts with this. That little thing, which actually sounds more complicated than it is. And if you're a beginner finger picker, this actually is not too hard to come to grips with, because it's two fingers for the finger picking parts. You don't have to be able to do a whole lot of stuff. Mostly just arpeggiating the chords, and some of them even loosely arpeggiated. So it starts with this. In the live versions, Jimmy would go, he'd hit that. And of course the audience would go crazy as soon as they hear those two notes. But on the studio one, he just sort of slides up that first note, and it's just arpeggiated D, G, B, E on an A minor chord. So if you were going to bar an A minor, you'd go like that, right? You know that. So he just took the highest four strings of the A minor, leave the A string open, forget about the E string, the low E, and just does all the way through them. And then the second one. So you'll notice through the intro, the D string is going to do this is kind of the bass line of it, which is what the flutes or recorders or whatever they are do. Alright, that's what your D string is going to do through these intro chords. So arpeggiate that A minor. So that's keep your index finger where it is across the G, B, and E at the 5th fret. Your D goes down from 7 to 6, and your high E was covered at 5, now it's covered at 7. So this one is right. The next one is D, G, B at 5 and high E at 8. Looks like that. The next, what was that? 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4th position is actually a D chord, regular D, with the D string covered at the 4th fret. And this is the way John Lennon would. He did a lot of his rhythm chords with this chord position, and you can just, he would move it up and down the neck. But so you could do that one just like that. I do it like this. I just cover it differently because for me it's easier to slide down like that. But this is the same as a D. It's the same notes covered, I just finger it differently. So do whatever is comfortable for you. But that one is so it's right. The last one is an F major 7, so it's a regular F if you were going to play a first position F, which is the highest part of it, but leave the high E string open. Right? So that last part is, so your A string 2nd fret, D open, G open, into an A minor. Except you're not playing the B or the high E on that little part. Now you'll if you're familiar with the live versions, Jimmy would go. throw in those little licks. If you want to do that part, it's an F with the high E string covered at the 3rd fret. Slide up 2 fret. So that's just the high E hammered on 2 frets on an F chord. And just hammer on an A minor. So if you want to do that little live lick. And then it goes back into it again. That's an open A. Slid up to 8, to 7, to open. Same thing again. Right? So you're kind of done with the first section, and then it's into this. Right? That's A string, 0, 2, 3, to a C chord. To D. Now for the picking hand, you're just going to have to listen to it and hear it. But it's C, D, F major 7. It's that same F with the high E open. That's hammering on an A minor. You kind of pluck the D, G, and B. So that section again. Walk up to a C, D, F major 7, A minor, C, to G, to D, right? D suspended on the high E from 3 to 2. Sorry, I got a big callus on my finger. It's getting caught in the strings there. And then again, C, D, F major 7, A minor. And the second time, this time through, it goes up to C, to D, and then that's that same F major 7 hammering on the B at the 1st fret. This is where the vocal comes. Second part of the vocal. That part. Buying a stairway down. There's a sign on the wall, this part. Right now it's into in a tree by the brook, I think is that part. By the brook, there's a songbird that sings sometimes all of our thoughts. Okay, so now here's that last part before it gets into the next section. It does. Now those are the same chords that you've been using through the intro. He just picks them differently. So you're just arpeggiating up and then back down again. I'm playing it through fast, but same thing you did with the intro chords, just arpeggiating through up and down kind of quickly. Right, and then it's that little transition chord is a G. And you want to make sure when you play your G chord with the B covered at the 3rd fret. Now, at this point, Jimmy would probably have to pick on his mouse through the intro and then pull it out. Alright, let's try that. That's an A minor 7. So regular A minor with the high E covered at the 3rd fret. So a different voice, it goes to a different voicing of an A minor 7. Full A minor with the high E string covered at the 3rd. The second voicing is just the 2-fingered version of an A minor 7. B at the 1st fret, D at the 2nd. It's just a D hammering on the high E at the 2nd fret. Right? So we're at that part. That part is, you're leaving the D open through this whole little thing here. That's an E minor, I guess. So that's G at 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, B at 8, high E at 7. The second one is a D. So you bring it down 2 frets, except now the G and the B are covered in the same fret at 7. High E at 5. Bring that all down 2 frets. Then back up again. And then so after you've gone through, so walk up that A string to a C, 0, 2, 3. Just pick them up. That's a G chord, but he only plays the middle part of it. A at the 2nd, open D, open G, B at the 3rd. The 3rd one is, so you're hammering on an A minor, hammer on the B string at the 1st fret, so it goes up and then down. Same thing again. Right, so the second time it goes up to C, G, F major 7 to A minor. On this F major 7 I sometimes cover the A string at the 3rd fret, but you could just do it the same way you did. With the A string open. So it's F major 7 to A. Right back to that same thing. Through a bunch of these. Alright, so let's suppose we're at the end of this section, right? So it's right when it goes to the, so that's up to C, G, D. So it's off on the high E to 2, 3. chord is A at the third, open D, open G, B at the third, high E at the second. Take the high E off from 2 to 0. And then on the A string, off and back on. This chord, you'll see, whenever you see a poster or a picture of Jimmy, not whenever, but a lot of the times, when you see him holding his double neck up like this, oftentimes that's the chord you'll see him do, because it's that part where he would do. So if you recognize that chord from a picture, that's why you recognize it. After a couple of those little fanfares, so now it's, you're walking the A string from 3 now down to 2, A string at 2, B at 3, that's still the high E string at from 2 to 0. And this is the guitar solo, A minor to G to F major 7, but on the G the high E is open, so through this part that's just an F with the high E open. So Jimmy's soloing and then A minor to G to F. I kind of like them with first position chords though. So at the end of the solo it's F major 7, A minor, G, F major 7. This is the part he goes do 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 do. You know, Jimmy's doing his sort of outro. So those are the same three: A minor, G. I guess that'd be G6 with the high E open. F major 7, and she's buying, and then it ends there. So this acoustic part ends on that F major 7. Kind of an unresolved. That's the cool thing about the ending. It doesn't go. In the live versions, they would eventually go. But on the studio one is better. It just goes. And she's buying that part. And that's how it ends. So in less than 20 minutes, we got through a quick lesson on this. But if you have any questions, let me know. Kind of went through it quick, but this assumes that you're at least, well, one, that you know the song pretty well, or at least familiar with how it goes, and two, that you've done a little bit of guitar playing. So this isn't really a 19-minute version for an absolute beginner. But if you have a little bit of finger picking behind you and understand the chord progressions, it's not a hard one to play. So good luck.